to study is fear and how different people react when put into stressful or anxiety-inducing situations, and kind of how that changes over time and over someone's lifespan. Alright, so my first outside source is Monsters, Inc. If anyone hasn't seen this movie, I'm sorry if this doesn't make sense to you. But on the right, we have Randall, who is kind of who we're all afraid of when we're kids, because he's the bad guy, he's the monster in the closet, he's really creepy, he appears out of nowhere. But when we get older, we are afraid of Roz because she could be the lady at Walmart or the secretary at your next job. The first book I read is A Canticle for Leibowitz, and it followed, or at least in the first part of it, it followed a monk named Brother Francis, who's kind of afraid of his own shadow, and he's so afraid of saying the wrong things that he never says anything absolute. He says, well, it might have been, or it could have been. But through all of his fear and his stressful situations, he leans on his religion, even though his religion is founded on some documents that we would consider scrap and recycling. He still leans on his faith, and he leans on the things that he has learned from his time in the Abbey. The second book I read, which was The Power and the Glory, is seemingly similar. It follows a priest. He is one of the last priests in Mexico, and religion has been outlawed. And he's kind of seen as a whiskey priest. When he goes around, it's assumed that he needs food and shelter, but what he asks for is alcohol, brandy, whiskey. And I found the contrast interesting because they're similar situations, but in one, the main character, Brother Francis, leans on his religion, where in The Power and the Glory, the priest, who is never given a name, leans on alcohol rather than his faith. So my next outside source is A Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. I picked this one because I thought it was interesting that through also the unnamed narrator's fears, he's so afraid of this man's dead eye, and he's afraid that it's watching him and judging him, he actually chooses to kill the old man to do away with his fears. And this kind of brings us into my next outside source, which is Studying Fight or Flight, where the two main characters from my books kind of have this flight mechanism, and they're coping with life on the run and life in oppression. The character in A Telltale Heart chooses to fight. I guess going into it, I expected the issue to be a lot more black and white than it actually ended up being. I expected people from certain situations to act a certain way, and then people from another background to act a different way when put into a similar situation. But what I actually found is that no matter where you're from or your background, your thought process is often the same, and you often find that you have the same two choices, and it kind of actually just influences which one you have and which one you take. Thank you.